Oh, hey there. What's up, guys? Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about building a brand. So building a brand or a company or a business, I think is something a lot of people want to do, but don't know necessarily how or even where to start. In the course of my career, I've built a couple different brands, one of which is the Buff Nerds, which is this YouTube channel, but also my production company. That is a brand that I started building in college and has become very successful, not only just through YouTube and the views we've amassed and the amount of artists and people we've worked with, but also on the brand for my production company, Buff Nerds Media, and all the amazing talent and companies and people that we've worked with and been hired to shoot for or direct projects for. So that's one brand that I have built by myself, started from the ground up, but also another brand that a lot of people don't know I'm behind, and started over a year ago and has since then taken off tremendously and been very successful. And recently, because of this, I thought about the idea of, this is something that a lot of people don't know how to do or don't know where to even begin. And I get a lot of questions regarding this sort of thing. And I was like, in the course of my career, I've built two very successful brands. I should write a guide or a manual on how to do this, which you can find a link to in the description below. It'll be the first link thing there. That is my guide on how to build a brand in a business. But I also wanted to give you guys a few just tips or pieces of advice for how you guys can do it yourself, and how you guys can get started or start thinking along those lines to create a brand or a company or a business for yourself, so one day you can be your own boss and you don't have to work for someone else. I think that's everyone's goal, is to be their own boss, to not work for someone else, to be in control of their life, their schedule, and just do what makes them happy. Me building these various companies and brands have allowed me to really do what I want to do with my life, and I've been successful at it, but I've been able to do the things, projects, travel, and do all the things I want to do. I'm not on anyone else's schedule, I'm not on anyone else's time but my own. I choose when and where I want to work and with who I want to work with. And that's truly a blessing, and I want that for as many of you guys as possible, and I believe my guide that I wrote will help you guys do that. So I think the first thing to starting your brand is finding your passion. What are you passionate about? For me, it was video and filmmaking and making videos, so I wanted to start doing that and building a brand around that. The brand can be its own separate company, it could be about you, but for me, when I started my YouTube channel, which was the start of my brand, it was The Buff Nerds. And where that came from was from me just taking my passions of fitness and filmmaking, which fitness is the buff part and nerds is kind of the techie film part of it, and meshing those together. Most people who are filmmakers aren't really athletes or buff, and vice versa, so it's like, yo, I'm the Buff Nerds, or I'm the Buff Nerd. The company, the brand is gonna be the Buff Nerds. So that's where that started. Just first off, finding something true to you, finding something true to your passions and running with it. Because at the end of the day, you want this company or brand you start to be something you're passionate about, to be something that you can really stand behind. So then you want to define your brand and cater to a specific audience. So originally, Buff Nerds, it was catering towards a music audience, a music video audience, and people that wanted to see dope artists, dope music, and dope music videos. And that was kind of the initial focus on that. And once you've grown to certain levels and heights, then you can branch out. Always, like an example I use is McDonald's. Look at McDonald's. So when they first started, it was just burgers and fries. Then as the years go on and they become the big empire that they are today, they're able to expand outside of that into other areas. Now they make chicken sandwiches, apple pies, and all that crazy stuff. But they started with one thing, focused on it, and made it good to where they got to where they were at, to where they could branch out. Same with me, the Buff Nerds started with music videos. I only did music videos. And as the years went on, as my name grew, the reputation and clients, we started getting into films, commercials, branded content, and all these other things outside of music videos. But when I started, it was just music videos. Focused on that, made sure I made a name for myself and the brand in music videos, and then later was able to branch out. And when you're starting your brand, find the gap in the market. So with this other company I started, I noticed there was a big gap in affordable filmmaking effects, color LUTs, and different things like that, filmmaking assets for an affordable price. I've bought different filmmaking LUTs, effects assets like lens flares in the past from other companies, but I just noticed they were so expensive, and I was honestly like, I could make something better than this. So the whole goal with the other company and brand I started was to make affordable filmmaking assets that were top-notch, top-tier quality, industry standard quality for an affordable price for anyone, whether they're in college, broke high school student, or a professional filmmaker, to create products of a professional level that's affordable across all levels. That was the gap in the market that I saw, and why I started my other company and brand, Tropic Color. Now that's a joint effort. I didn't do it myself. I'm working together with a team on that, but that's what I saw. I saw the gap in the market. I saw the hole. I saw that there was a need for it, and then I created something around it, a brand, a company, a business, and just went hard with it and stuck with it. And as we've gone along with the company, we just started with one thing, just some colored LUTs. Then as we go along, we start building and branching out to those other things as we become established and reputable, start reaching out and expanding our network and the products we have with the company. One of the main things I can say that has been successful for me and the various brands I've started is engaging with people, and being that receptive and inspirational and helpful voice. So your company, people want to invest and buy into things that help them or that are helpful, or people that are engaging. They feel like they're a part of that brand. They feel like they're a part of the product. They feel they want to invest in something like that. So try not to be so cold and like distant from your customers or your supporters or followers of your brand, whatever it is, but engage with them, talk to them, respond, do giveaway, do things that make them feel a part of the brand. A good example of this is Unsplash. Recently, I think about a year ago, I joined Unsplash and I started posting my photos to there, and I quickly became the #1 most followed person on the platform. So if you go to Unsplash, all the users on there, I am the #1 most followed person. But one thing I loved about Unsplash was just like the community that they had built, and the engagement they had, not only with me, but their other followers or users of the platform. They were always sending me little stickers and a thank you card, and when I'd hit a milestone, they'd send me some gifts, and they were just very engaged with my content as a user of their platform and their brand. And I've seen them over the last year and a half really take off from even when I started using them. And I totally believe, not only because I feel like their brand is good, their branding, their company, but the engagement they have with their users and the people around that platform. And one of the last tips that I want to talk about today, the rest of the tips and information and different things, my booklet, my guide, you can find in the description below, but is to be original and don't mimic others. If you mimic someone else, you can only be as good as them. You're never gonna like fully pop off and stand out away from that brand or company that already exists. Surely you can come in and do something a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it's hard for you to really take off because you're the same as someone else. So try and be creative, different, and find that gap or that hole that makes you unique compared to these other companies. Don't just copy. You can draw inspiration from and be inspired by this and build your company or brand inspired off something else, but then take it a level higher and do something different that they don't do. And that will really catapult you and grow your brand and your company. The one last thing I do want to say, and then make sure you guys go grab the guide. It's only $9.99, basically giving it away. A lot of helpful information of all my tips, tricks, and secrets I use to build my brands. There's nothing in here that I won't do or haven't done in the past to grow my brands and my companies. But the last thing, I think one of the most important, is you have to be an advocate of your brand. You have to be passionate about it. You have to love it and be a true advocate for it. Like, people can really feel the passion behind something in that brand and feel the energy behind it. And also that just makes you want to work towards growing the brand. If I started a brand about pool supplies, I have no passion about pools or taking care of pools or pool care or designing pools or maintaining pools. So that brand would be really hard for me to grow and become just big, because I'm not going to put in the effort and the work that's needed to grow that brand, to take it to higher levels, to get teams around it and people excited about it. Pools might have been a weird example, but the example I'm having is, if you're not passionate about something or an advocate for that thing, it's going to be hard for you to personally grow that brand and take that business to new heights when you don't really care about it. You're not really an advocate for it. All right, guys, so those are just a few of my tips for building and starting a brand. Again, check the link in the description below, $9.99 for my Build a Brand guide. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. Again, I've taken a couple brands from absolutely nothing and have grown to some very successful brands and companies. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can. I'm living proof that I do know what I'm talking about. And I hope that this brand guide will help a lot of you guys, and I'm sure it will if you follow a lot of these steps and pieces of advice that I'm sharing in it with you guys. All right, that's it for this video. I'm Jakob Owens. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Again, Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds, and I'm out.